Welcome to Box Free with Stephanie. Today I want to show you how to make some simple foods with basic ingredients from scratch. And I hope you discover cooking box free is fast and delicious. So let's cook together. Today we're going to make Apple Flapjacks, which is a really good thing for breakfast because it comes together really fast and it takes like 30 minutes to bake, and then it's really nice and hot and yummy. So right now I have butter in my pie pan in the oven. So what I'm going to do is mix my custardy kind of bready filling that is going to go on top of it. So I'm going to start in a smallish bowl, half a cup of flour and half a cup of milk, which I have pre-measured in my little bitty cow. So this is half a cup of milk. I'll put him in. And whoopsie, I was supposed to beat my eggs. Shoot, that's okay. I'll just beat my eggs right in here. Well, let's see, I better get a fork. So normally I beat my eggs in my bowl and then I add my flour and my milk and all that, but we just kind of messed up today and we're just gonna make it work because you can. So you just beat your eggs like this, and you're basically just doing this to try to get all your eggs together because you aren't gonna beat your batter very much. So just like that, just so that they're combined, and if you have a big yellow blob of yolk, you try to just mix that in. So just a quick beaten egg like that. There's 2 of them in here. So my 2 beaten eggs in there, and then I'm going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which is just a little bit like that. Okay, so 2 eggs, half a cup of flour, half a cup of milk, and just a little bit of salt. And this, again, you don't have to beat very much. So I think this recipe just comes together really fast. You can totally make it in the morning and have it ready because it is so quick. So even like this, with all these little gloppy like flour balls in there, that's okay. That's really all you need to do. So like you mix it for 20 seconds and you call it done. Okay, now I'm gonna reach in the oven. I have my oven set at 400, and in here, all right, it's perfect. Okay, so here I have 2, it's a hot oven, 2 tablespoons of butter, and now I'm gonna add to that 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And what you wanna do, hang on one second, this is going to be, what you do is put all this stuff in here and then you flip it over. So what I like to do is just kind of roll this around and make sure I get my edges a little bit covered with the butter. And then you just put out, I kind of like to put this in my hand and then I just sprinkle it all over. So that's my 1st tablespoon. And then I'm going to do a 2nd tablespoon. And I suppose you could just dump this in and then kind of stir it, but I never do. And then you're supposed to do a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. I never measure. I just sprinkle. I just put some in. And I don't go too crazy heavy because you're only supposed to do a 1/4 teaspoon, but so just like that. It's pretty simple. Okay, we're almost done. And then an apple. So I do like to peel my apple in this one because I don't know, this one just seems like you don't want the thickness of the apple peel. So I just take a minute to peel it. But whatever, if you didn't want to peel your apple and that was going to make you not make this recipe, then I would just say don't peel them. Just do it because the slices are really thin, and so your peel is going to be very thin. So it might not really matter. But I just always do. Okay, so then all you're going to do is take your apple, you just make thin little slices. And I just do it right into the pan, so it's really fast, and there's no big science to this. You just want the pieces to be thin so that the apple actually gets baked through and nice and soft within the 30 minutes of your bake time. So you don't really want thick chunks of apple, but the shape of the apple piece doesn't really matter. So I kind of do this, just these big straight pieces all around till I get down to my core. And once I'm pretty much, see, I'm hitting my core now. So now I just go to the end and I get all that good apple. And these are a little bit thicker, but they're so little, I don't think it's going to matter. And I'm going to go a little bit thin here. But you can really kind of get every little chunk of apple because you're only doing 1 apple. So it's not really a whole lot of apple. Oh, and this is just a regular 9-inch pie pan. Okay, so that's your apple. So then I just kind of spread it out like that. I mean, it's just such a fast recipe. So there's, again, just like that. That's pretty much all you're looking for. And then you take your little mixture here, and I see a flour blob. I'm just gonna mix that in. Then you just dump this over. Let me see if I can do it this way so you guys can see. You just try to cover all of your apples, which really should be fine because that's what the recipe calls for. It's all measured out and to cover them up. So you dump it over like that. I mean, this is so fast. It's been like 5 minutes, I think, if that. So I love this recipe. I make this a lot in the fall because it's just a really yummy thing. So you can see my butter already pooling up along the edge. And that's it. So now I'm going to pop this in the oven, and then we're gonna let this bake for 30 to 35 minutes until it's nice and golden. And then breakfast will be served. So I'm gonna put this in. It's really hot again because you melted your butter in your pie pan in the oven, which I suppose you wouldn't have to, but the recipe calls for that, and that's what I've always done. So I'm gonna set my timer for 30 minutes, and I gotta do it right now before I forget. So you really don't want to overbake this one. So that's fast, really fast. We will be back in 30 minutes, and then I'll show you how to flip it upside down and eat your apple flapjack. We'll be right back. Hello, we are back. It's been about 29 minutes, I think. Yeah, 29. My timer is just about to go off, and my apple flapjack is like big and crazy. So we are gonna pull it out. Look at this thing. It's really crazy. Okay, so this is such a custardy type of recipe that it just, in that 400-degree oven, it just like pops right up and just gets crazy. So this recipe actually came from this little kid book that had a bunch of fun recipes for kids, and it was called the Flying Apple Flapjack, because it kind of looks like a flying saucer. But whatever, I'm calling it the Apple Flapjack. So while this is nice and hot, you basically want to put a plate on it, invert it, and then all that hot butter should just release it from the pan, and then you eat. So you just put your oven mitts on, put your pan right over this, flip it, and then you can kind of shake it a little bit, and you can pretty much see that it's released almost everywhere. Then I usually take a little paring knife and just kind of grab my pan and see it released really nicely. So then if you want to, you can grab your little bit of caramel, your kind of brown sugar and butter caramel stuff, and put that on there. And that is your flying apple flapjack. And then to serve it, this is just a really yummy thing to eat, I think. It's kind of all caramelized like this. So you just cut it into a little piece. And you know what? I'm not even going to taste it because it's so hot right now. I can just see, you can see the steam coming and everything. But that's it. It's just a really nice kind of like quick, easy pastry that's not quite so sweet and very relatively healthy for breakfast and very fast. So it takes 5 minutes to whip together, 30 minutes to bake, and then you eat it. So here is your apple flapjack. So thank you very much for watching Box Free with Stephanie. I hope you like the show. I hope you make a flying apple flapjack and your family loves it. And I will see you guys on another show. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.